Hi, and welcome to a simple tutorial on how to set up and use Netami's Barrows script. First things first, we have to start the script. It is found under the money making category. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our gear set up, which I picked a pretty standard and expensive gear setup. So you pick the outfit that you want to wear, and then you just press load current gear, and it'll load all that right here. For range, I want to be using a magic shortbow eye, a glory, and an accumulator. So I'm just going to go to range, press load current gear. The range style I'm going to be using, I don't want to bring a gear switch for melee, so I'll just be using range. This tab shows all the Barrows brothers, and you can rearrange them in whatever order you want, but the current order is the most efficient order that most people usually go in. So you can click on each one of the brothers and it'll have some presets like for Aram I want to use the special attack. I want to use range to kill him. For Darok and Aram and all these guys, it already has the correct prayers enabled, so you don't really have to mess with anything. But something that I choose to do is I go down here where it has Mystic Might and Eagle Eye, and I enable whichever is the correct one for that brother. Something else that I wanted to mention is if you do have leftover prayer after killing these brothers, most people don't use prayer for Torag or Varak, but if you have leftover prayer, it will enable them. It will enable your protect from melee or whatever you have enabled, but it won't waste any of your extra P pods. So it gets maximum efficiency out of your potions. Combat index is just if you wanted to be training with a specific attack style, but if you leave it on -1, it'll just use whatever the last one you were on is, which should be fine for most people. If you do need to change anything, like say you want to turn off a certain prayer, you just select it or deselect it, then you press set for selected, and then it saves it. So it's no longer on. But I'm going to re-enable that. See, still on. The next thing I wanted to touch on is the settings tab, which is everything's pretty straightforward in this script. But you will more than likely be using the Barrows teleports. For the food selection, it has a couple of the most commonly used food, but if you have a decent defense level, you will probably use no less than like two or three, or no more than two or three food a trip. But I keep mine at 10 just in case something does go wrong. I have food to heal back up. The special attack weapon, if used, which 99% of the time you're only going to be using it on Arams, even if you or if you even do decide to use it at all, but it supports almost every special attack. I'm using a magic shortbow eye, so that's pre-selected. It has an option to say good luck to people when they're at the chest, which it doesn't do that every time, but if you're doing a lot of consecutive hours, it could keep people from reporting you because they're like, oh, he's actually talking. Always eat below a certain percentage. I keep mine at 60. I think the preset is 70, but I use maybe two or three food in inventory or per Barrow's chest, so you probably shouldn't need that much. Prayer potions, um, if you have lower prayer like 43, 44, 45, you should probably bring 4 P-pots just to be safe, but I am in the mid 60s range and I use 2 to 3 doses or 2 to 3 potions, almost never more. Melee potions, you're only going to want to use this if you are getting your KC with melee, which I am not, so I'm just going to leave that at none. The script does support staminas and ranging potions, even though you don't use staminas much, but if you do need to use one, it'll speed up your runs by a little bit. There was a couple extra things I wanted to touch on. Um, One of them is that after an inventory, after you loot the chest, it will run over here, it'll pull out all the stuff you need from the bank, and then it'll run to the white portal, and it'll use that to reset your run energy, your prayer points, and your HP. It does support every armor in the game, or yeah, basically every armor setup that you could ever imagine you'd want. You could use that. You can reorder the brothers in any order that you want. It keeps track of which monsters to kill for the highest chance of good loot, and it has a lot of fail safes to where if anything messes up, like if it gets stuck, it'll teleport out. If you run out of food, it'll teleport out. If you run out of prayer potions and it needs it for like a Darok tunnel or something, it'll teleport out and grab more and then run back. Um, oh, one last thing. If you run low, or if your Trident of the Seas is running low on charges, it'll automatically refill your Trident for you, which is really nice. And I will start the script and show it doing a run.